angry guy here, and men abandoning society are getting rich. A quick shout out to my members, channel members, Earhead USMC, Leonidas, and Derek Marie. Guys, thank you so much for your support. If you're enjoying the content, please help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Now let's begin. Men abandoning society are getting rich. Let's look at some of the comments that I've been getting, because you can see that a lot of men are responding and they're sharing their stories about how abandoning Western society, not getting married, not having children has impacted their lives. In some cases, for decades. You have a lot of millionaires that are popping up in my chat, in the comments. On one video, men are abandoning society and living better lives. We literally have guys that are talking about how their lives have literally improved since they walked away from society. Many of these men are talking about how little they actually need to survive and how they are thriving. Kevin says, I could literally hop out of my sleep and go to DoorDash and come home in peace, and go do DoorDash and come home in peace. I'm staying in a condo that's inherited in the sticks. All I have is a PlayStation 4, Roku, and a love seat. I don't even buy much, and I get in and out of the building like a fox. So this guy inherited a condo in the sticks, hops out of bed, does some DoorDash, and is basically playing PlayStation 4 and has a Roku, and that's basically it. And for many of you that don't realize it, you can pick up a PlayStation 4 right now, dirt cheap. And I actually thought about talking about this, because there's actually a video out there, and it's very interesting regarding PlayStation 4, because, you know, it just reflects how little men actually need to survive, and the fact that a lot of men are doing more with less.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into an interesting topic. Why should you consider buying a PS4 in 2023? With the PS5 dominating the headlines, let's explore why its predecessor might still be a worthwhile investment. It's the 10-year anniversary of the PS4 release, and guess what? As the PS5 becomes more accessible, the prices of the older PS4 systems are dropping significantly. You can now snag a used PS4 for as low as $100. Now, you might be wondering, but why buy a PS4 when the PS5 is out? Well, let's break it down. Even 3 years into the PS5 era, a considerable chunk of the game library is available on the PS4. Titles like Resident Evil Village, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West still run on the PS4, offering a solid gaming experience. Sure, the PS5 boasts superior graphics, but the PS4 still holds its ground. While there might be visual compromises and longer load times, the core gameplay remains intact across various titles. Take note, there are a limited number of PS5 exclusive games currently available. If you're concerned about missing out, there are only a handful of big-name games exclusive to PS5, such as Final Fantasy XVI and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Let's not forget the thriving third-party and indie game scene. Many smaller games and indie titles run equally well on both the PS4 and PS5. So, if you're into a variety of gaming experiences, the PS4 won't disappoint. The PS4's significantly lower price point compared to the PS5 makes it an attractive option for gamers on a budget. For a fraction of the cost, you can tap into a vast and actively growing game library. In conclusion, while the PS5 is undoubtedly impressive, the PS4 in 2023 still offers a solid gaming experience. If the price tag of a PS5 seems daunting, or if you're intrigued by the extensive PS4 game library, consider grabbing a PS4.
Now, guys, I share that with you because I want to show you what's happening with men. A lot of men don't need a lot to survive. So as you can see from this dude, he picked up a PlayStation 4. He doesn't need to upgrade to a PlayStation 5. There's literally only like a handful, literally a handful of games. We're talking about like 5 games that are currently out that are exclusive to the PlayStation 5. So most men will just basically sit there with their PS4, happy as day, happy as day. Maybe even pick up a PlayStation 4 Pro if they can for $120, and they're basically getting almost PlayStation 5 level graphics, and that's it. The truth is that, and there's some guys in the comments who say things like, they'd be happy with, they have literally just an N64. They're retired at 53. They have an N64 and they're living their best life. Like it's bad. It's bad like that. Angry dude, I've told you about some guys like who are literally just literally going to the food pantries. Like these men are living their best lives. They're living their best lives. They are not stressing themselves out. Some of these guys are, they've already made their million, and they're not sharing it with. They're definitely not letting someone come in and take that away from them. This one, men have abandoned society and are hoarding wealth. I bought a 2-bedroom condo and the realtor couldn't understand why. She said I could afford a much bigger house. I told her I don't have a mortgage with the condo. As for cars, I buy used Hondas. Upkeep is cheap. Insurance is cheap. Parts are easy to find. This is why I love Hondas, guys. Planning to pick up a Hyundai Tucson cheap. I've been looking at a 2010, about $6,000. And I can just buy it. Like it's crazy, guys. And you can just like pull out your credit card and buy it, and you don't feel it. When you can just buy a car cash on a credit card, it is maddening to me that I can do these things right now. I can literally buy a car, a brand new car, not a brand new, but a good car cash, and I can have it delivered to me. Okay? I can have it delivered to me. If I want to, I can fly to another state, check it out, have it checked by a mechanic, and then have it shipped to me and pay maybe $1,000, anywhere between $500 and $1,000. And it just baffles me that ever since I stopped having relationships, like I haven't been dating in the last 4 years. I was sick for about 2 years. Many of you know that. I was really ill for like 2 years. And it's kind of crazy because I haven't gotten back into the dating market, and the abundance of money is just is just shocking me, because I lived off my savings for a while, and now I've been working, and it's just like the amount of money that I'm just like stocking up. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I have all of this money. I'm not spending money on women. I'm not going out. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just stacking money, and I'm not like, and I'm buying whatever I want to buy. I'm buying. In fact, I kind of look at it now and I'm like, gosh, I could have spent more, and it's just frightening. Like, this is what happens when you walk away from Western society, when you walk away from dating entirely. Even you go overseas and you can get yourself a nice Filipina or Latina, and they won't cost you a lot of money, but even then you're going to still spend some money. When you completely stop dating, stop having relationships, for example, let's say you have a Filipina or a Latina and they're only costing you, let's say, a couple $100 a month. That couple $100 could work out to about $500 a month, or $6,000 a year. It could add up, or even $10,000. And some of you will say, well, that's nothing compared to a woman in Western society. But think about this carefully. That $10,000, it gives you kind of like a point where you can take some of that money, you can invest it into other things that you would never have been able to invest in before. And you may not see it, but that allows you to make money in the long run, Or for example, that $10,000, you can turn around and take that money and buy a new car. Or if you're, if you're overseas, put it towards a property. You can buy a house in the Philippines for $20,000. Build a house for $20,000. You can build a house in the Philippines for $20,000, and even it's just kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy the abundance that you have when you stop having relationships, when you stop dating, when you don't marry, when you don't date, when you don't have children, when you're not focused on women at all, you're not thirsting like the Simps and paying for an OnlyFools or LonelyFans or any other form of adult content, when you are literally walking away and you're just focusing on your happiness and your peace, and you're not thirsting after these women, bro, it's just like we're like, the money is crazy. The money is absolutely crazy. Like, look at this guy. I make about $25,000 a year due to disability. I was able to buy a 2-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom, on $25,000 a year, guys. This man bought $25,000 a year of disability. So that means that money is likely going to be tax-free. Think about this, guys. It's not. So what he's telling us is, it's very interesting, because if he's getting $25,000 a year from disability, it's more than that. I'll explain why. He's also likely collecting Medicaid because he's disabled. So Medicaid covers the cost of health insurance. Health insurance is expensive in the United States, as you already know that. That's very big. On top of that, he may also, he could also be eating at food pantries. All right. So, and you can get around $1,200 a month or more in food from these food pantries. So, that in and of itself is it's saving you almost $15,000 a year, $15,000 a year in food. And then, I don't know if you would qualify for food stamps, but it's possible. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. So his total compensation, and then look at this, guys. He was able to buy a 2-bedroom apartment. 2-bedroom apartment, because there's some places, like for example in Kansas, and I looked into this. I was shocked when some of you guys suggested this. You can buy an entire house for $100,000 in some places, like in Kansas, $100,000 for a nice large house with like two bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, a huge like ton of land, and so and that's for an entire house. So a 2-bedroom apartment, you can buy a 2-bedroom apartment for maybe $50,000. Because if you can buy a 5-bedroom house in some of these places for $100,000, you can buy an apartment for maybe $50,000. $50,000. So what are you going to pay for after that? Maybe you might pay some maintenance cost fees for the building, and that's not going to be much, $100, $200 a month. So that's what, $2,400 a year. Okay, so that's it, $2,400 a year, and then, maybe, I don't know, $1,000 in property taxes. So $3,400, call it $3,500. I mean, so you're basically living essentially rent free, and you end up, if you take out that cost, you're still going to end up with around $21,000. I mean, guys, this is the reality. He says, I own my own car, so I don't have to make monthly payments, and I'm able to save around $400 to $500 monthly. I honestly don't need more, and I'm doing well. So this guy's living his best life. He's living his best life. If he's saving, and based on the numbers that he's giving us, he's saving up to maybe around $6,000 a year over the course of 2 years. That's going to be $12,000. And over the course of, let's say, 4 years, that's like another that's what, $24,000. And guys, it really starts to add up. So you'll end up with a guy like this that more or less can easily, after let's say, after 10 years, you end up with a guy like this who will have easily like $50,000 in the bank, and you don't know. And it varies. And that's just basically sitting there, 50, or, and if there's other investments or whatever, $50,000 to $100,000. And this guy's like, pulling in $25,000 a year, but he ends up with like $100,000 in the bank, owning a 2-bedroom apartment, has everything that he wants. And modern women are out here basically selling themselves for $9.99 a month on OnlyFools and LonelyFans, and busted it wide open for everyone to see. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, please help get the channel to 100,000 subscribers on our journey to 2 million by subscribing to the channel if you already haven't, liking the video, and turning on notifications to never miss another video ever again. Men are abandoning society and they're getting rich doing it. What do you guys think about this? I want to know your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about them there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.